Hi everyone, I will begin by welcoming those who are watching Classroom Tips with Linda for their first time. In my last upload, I promised to make a presentation on the characteristics of a good teaching material or good teaching aid. But before getting into that, I would like to throw some light on, first of all, the importance of using teaching materials in our lesson. The first importance is that it facilitates your lesson. Secondly, it brings abstract information to concrete. Also, it helps kids to retain language items for a long period of time. This point is really very important, especially for those kids who are learning English as their second language. When you use teaching materials, it is very, very important for them and it helps them to retain permanently. After seeing this importance, I want to go into our topic for today, which is the characteristics of good teaching material. What are the characteristics of a good teaching material? Take, for example, that you are given an opportunity to make a choice out of two materials to present a particular lesson. For example, this material or this. Which will you prefer in your lesson? Just drop your comments in the comment section below and we will talk about that later. Now, to begin with the first characteristic of good teaching material, your material should be large and visible enough. Visibility is very important. Most of our classrooms are very congested and populated. Students who are far behind might not be able to see your materials if they are not really clear or large pictures enough. So when you are printing or when you are drawing your chart, try to make them visible and the images very large enough so that any child will be able to see even from behind. Also, choose your material according to the mental level of your students. What do I mean here? Do not use a material that was meant for maybe students of the secondary level. You use it in the kindergarten. It won't work like that. It will rather disturb them and confuse them during lesson. Also, make your materials very simple. Do not complicate the chart. Do not make it too congested. Select the important points, the ones that are directly linked to your lesson, and put them on your chart. Or if it is a video, go to your video, trim your video, make it in a way that it suits just the particular topic for that day. Do not just go and download a video that takes maybe 10 different topics in one and you present to your students. It is so confusing. Take your time to make your choices. Go in and do your research. Search good videos, search good pictures, search good photos, and use on your chart. Or if you want to use textbooks, go in for good textbooks, do enough research, and make sure your textbooks are updated. That is still another important point. Make sure your materials are up to date. You cannot take a textbook that maybe was produced in uh, 2005 to use in 2020. It is already too outdated. It's better to go for the revised edition of that textbook. Make your material to be very meaningful. Take for instance that you want to teach your kids how to take care of fruits before eating. We all know that before you eat your fruit, you wash the fruit. But now, if you bring a chart, a fruit chart, and present to them, how does it explain to them the procedures in taking care of your fruit before eating? It doesn't really explain. It's better that you maybe download or you maybe make a picture of a child who is washing maybe any fruit of your choice. With that, they will easily understand your lesson. Do you know with your good didactic materials, your students can be able to tell you the topic for that day? Yes. Because with the chart of fruit, how would they be able to tell you that we need to take care of our fruit before eating? We need to wash our fruit before eating. They won't be able. But with a chart that has a child washing fruits And maybe with another one, I have another one, after washing, the child is eating, that one will be more explicit to them. So it is very meaningful. That is what I meant by meaningful. Again, make your materials accurate and realistic. We recommend real objects rather than photos in your lessons. But when we talk of real objects, be careful with the kind of real objects you bring to the classroom. A lesson like a topic like fruits, you can come up with some fruits or vegetables around. Those are things that are really common. Or if you're teaching classroom materials or things found in a classroom, there is no need for you coming up with a chart with table drawn on it, a chair drawn on it, of which you have chairs and tables around you in the classroom. Those are real objects. It's better you use those real objects, and they will understand better because they can see and they can also feel it. So those are that is a very important point we have to take into consideration. Real objects are preferable than photos and pictures. Now I have this short story to share with you. It is very funny, but it is so important. When I was doing my training, my colleague was to present a lesson on domestic animals. But do you know what? He brought a live cat to class. So when he removed his cat from the bag to present to the students, unfortunately the cat slipped off and ran out of the classroom. So he had to follow the cat with the students. So his meaning his lesson ended at that point. At the end of his lesson, the supervisor asked him what his lesson was all about. Was it about chasing a cat or domestic animals? Where am I driving to? I'm just struggling to make it very clear to us all that we should be careful with the kind of real objects we bring to the class. The fact that we recommend real objects doesn't mean that you come to class with a live snake. It is not possible. It is not correct. So when we mean real objects, we are talking of things that cannot harm or things that cannot instead distract your students or things that cannot interrupt your lesson. If you consider these points before preparing your teaching materials, it will be very important for you and your lesson will go on so smoothly and very interesting. So, thank you so much for listening. You have been listening to Classroom Tips with Linda, and if you're joining me for the first time, please subscribe and hit the notification button. Also, drop your interesting comments and do not forget to share my video.